Welcome today, readers and viewers. Today we're going to be talking about the greatest historical fiction book of all time, and I, for one, cannot wait. So, really, let's be honest, the greatest historical fiction book of all time.
Ready to talk about the Gruffalo?
The Gruffalo?
Yeah, the Gruffalo.
No, that's the greatest fantasy book of all time.
What are we doing today?
Historical fiction.
Oh, in that case,
Readers,
reviewers,
countrymen,
lend us your ears. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the greatest historical fiction book ever, not the greatest fantasy book ever. And obviously you can't categorically say we're the greatest book in any genre, but today we thought we'd choose something which we think basically anyone who's into historical fiction will enjoy, and many fantasy readers as well. And we think that it's just a masterpiece in the way that it is crafted, and enjoyability, the characters, the world, everything put together. So there's probably other historical fiction books I've enjoyed as much, but this is just, we both loved it, and so this is a way to talk about it. And so without any further ado,
today our book is Steven Pressfield's Gates of Fire. Now this book, we have chosen this book, it is a standalone and it is about ancient Greece, the Battle of Thermopylae. We wanted to choose a book that lots of readers will kind of know the story of, and this book is obviously, everyone pretty
300.
much is 300. We all know the story of Thermopylae, but we don't know exactly how it played out, and here you find out exactly how it did. And now, one thing that makes this book a masterpiece is Steven Pressfield's writing. He has this authorial voice that is just absolutely fascinating, and it is riveting, and it really captures every single aspect of war, camaraderie, bravery, and cowardice. And the way that his prose just delivers these clinical lines, it is so quotable. And there is a kind of a philosophy within the words about people, really, about soldiers, about warfare, and why people fight. One thing I think that makes this a masterpiece is the way that it's actually written.
Yeah, I think that it's a masterful depiction of something that's epic and atmospheric, an amazing tale in that sense, but also there's a story that is far more intimate as well, one with heart and purpose, and I think that Steven Pressfield creates a great balance between these two, between the characters and their interactions, their relationships, the idea of purpose, identity. These are very prevalent themes in The Gates of Fire, which I think can resonate with all of us, really, and then obviously not so much the war part, even though that is quite epic.
But lots of people do resonate with this, because I think the way that Steven Pressfield writes is that he has these characters from ancient Greece, but I think modern day soldiers, such as the Navy SEALs, actually have, or is it the Marine Corps, they actually have to read this when they join, because there's a commentary on people fighting, people working together. And I think the aspects of realism here are just unfounded. There are so many real aspects here, such as, details from war, the way that characters talk, everything feels exactly how it would have been, even though we don't know how it would have been. It just has something about it. Sometimes you can't put your finger on it, you can't define it. But there is something about this book that when you read the first few pages, you know that you're reading something magical.
I think there's a few books, it's quite rare, but when you read them, you're enthralled immediately because of all these aspects put together, and reading Gates of Fire was one of those experiences. And I think that in many senses, it's a very inspirational story. Maybe not in the sense, obviously, war is a terrible thing, but in the sense of a lot of the commentary, the philosophical side of Gates of Fire is about contributing yourself to something far greater than an individual, and that's the idea of purpose and identity playing into this again, where we get some tales with some characters, they begin wanting revenge. I'm keeping it vague to stop spoilers, but they want revenge, and it's about their individual enmities, but then over time, with the camaraderie that is built, and that the friendships forged through danger, and that belief in something greater than you, a country but greater than you, and the idea that sacrificing yourself can help other people, and being willing to do that, I think, is a very inspirational tale in that sense. And Steven Pressfield does a great job at showing the depravities of mankind, but also the heroism. I think there's that saying that you cannot have heroism without tragedy, and vice versa, and we definitely get
bravery without cowardice.
We definitely get a feel of all of those in The Gates of Fire.
100%, and it is basically told almost not quite through a diary entry, but almost like a recount, really, of the main characters journey from when he was a child and then how he ended up in Sparta. And basically, he is the last survivor of the Battle of Thermopylae, and he is being interviewed by one of the Persian kind of chroniclers, isn't he? And they are telling his story to is it King Darius?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it unfolds. And then there are so many little anecdotes about key characters that you meet along the way. And some of them you don't like, you absolutely hate to start with, and some of them you really, really adore. And then by the end, it's just everything just comes into place. And the end battle here is one of the most epic, one of the most perfectly written battles I have ever read. It blows the socks off of nearly everything else I've had the pleasure of reading, because the battle feels so real and it is so planned and it's meticulously detailed. And also every single character has a moment there which just absolutely you're there reading wide-eyed and you cannot help but binge through it, because it is addictive to read, isn't it? And it's also, we all know it ends in heartbreak, and Stephen Pressfield, I think because the reader knows what happens at the end, you're kind of willing for these characters to succeed, but because in your heart we all like the underdogs, don't we? And you just wish history isn't going to be true here. That is this going to end in a different way? But obviously it doesn't. But he makes you fall in love with these characters, and it is a very emotional story.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does make me cry. It did make me cry, and it made you as well. And I think that is because great action scenes, whilst they can be written beautifully, I think what actually makes an action scene great is emotional involvement.
Yeah, and the sacrifices of those characters.
And I think it is quite not risky, but I think it's a very hard task for an author to write about an event that we all know what happens.
Yeah.
Especially something as famous and renowned as Thermopylae, which has inspired generation after generation. It's been the most famous battle for millennium now. And I think that Stephen Pressfield does a great job knowing, okay, the reader knows what's going to happen to the majority of these characters, but how can I invest them still and keep that tone of dread where they don't know maybe the intricacies of what's going on, so we're still invested in finding out how these events unfold. And I think that many other authors may not have been able to do it like Stephen Pressfield did, and he just hit there's a very fine balance to be had with all these different aspects, and I think he just did, again, I'm going to say it, a masterful job.
Yeah 100%. And we could hark on about this for hours, couldn't we? But honestly, if you like fantasy, if you like fiction, anything like that, go and check this book out, because there is something here for everyone. Whether you like the huge sprawling battles, whether you like the intimate moments with the characters to fall in love with, whether you like historical details and non-fiction and to see that the way that these people spoke and the way that they lived and their mindset, or whether you're just looking to have a page-turning read.
And also there are some fantastical elements in the sense where, because the religion, the ancient Greek religion, some of the characters believe that they've seen the gods or they see omens, and so that is seen as, they see it as real. So in a sense it is like a fantastical read as well to those fantasy readers out there who are watching this video. So I think that people who like that genre will also really enjoy Gates of Fire because of those fantastical aspects, but also how epic the set pieces are, which is far more like the fantasy genre than the majority of historical fiction books out there.
So please let us know in the comments below, have you read Gates of Fire, and what do you think the best historical fiction book is in your opinion? Now we'd love to talk about lots more historical fiction on the channel, and we really look forward to
let us know if you want us to do some more videos like this. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy our video, and look forward to some of our future content. So Ed, without further ado,
this is Sparta.
The Brothers Gwynne.
The Brothers Gwynne.